Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatadishatarine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatadishatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda.
Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Jaya Radha Gopinatha Radha Gopinatha Shri Radhe Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadramai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. composed the 18 Puranas under the instructions of his spiritual master. He also authored the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is called the Spotless Purana. He distributed this knowledge throughout the world through his disciples. So His Holiness Devamitra Swami Maharaj comes in that disciplic succession, and who is giving us the knowledge and is holding our hands to take us back home, back to Godhead. Maharaj was born in 1950 and received a scholarship to Yale University at the age of 17. He joined Prabhupada in the mission to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world in 1972. He has written books like Hiding Behind Unnatural Happiness, Vedic India, Bhakti Bhava, and many others. I know he will continue this great service for us. Now let's start the program by hearing what Maharaj has written for Srila Prabhupada. Can I request Meera to come up and read Maharaj's offering? What do I do with this?
Wait. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Is it good?
Guru Maharaj's offering to Srila Prabhupada. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my most grateful and respectful obeisances at your lotus feet. Far down at the bottom of the earth, gazing over the Pacific Ocean, I meditate not on the immense waters thundering as countless waves, but on the boundless expanse of your mercy, dynamically reconnecting us to the Supreme Beloved. Although the planet Earth contains twice as much water as land, who today can fully fathom the mysteries of the sea? Oceanographers are fond of saying that science knows less about the high seas than it does about the moon. One day, humankind may comprehend the deepest secrets of the ocean and the moon, but who can ever grasp the depths of and scope of your compassion and mercy? Dedication to your lotus feet bestows the chance to develop love for Radha and Krishna. How is it that I am allowed to approach your divine lotus feet, the magnanimous treasure trove of pure bhakti? Why do you dare engage such a wretch in life's most exalted activity, devotional service? Through the thick and thin of my meager attempts to serve you, why do you bother to sustain such an insequential speck, a most diminutive insect-like semblance of a devotee? Akrura, on his way to Vrindavan, beautifully illustrated the miraculousness of your divine rescue mission, the incomparable intervention. Just as a blade of grass floating on the waters of a river may by chance come near the ocean and gain shelter, a conditioned soul, carried away by the waves of material existence, may sometimes be saved by the grace of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.38.5. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declared to Sanatana Goswami, My dear Sanatana, Krishna has saved you from Maharourava, life's deepest hell. He is an ocean of mercy, and his activities are very grave. Swiftly, most appropriately, Sanatana replied, I do not know who Krishna is. As far as I am concerned, I have been released from prison only by your mercy. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 20.63 to 64. With the strength you grant, I can then strive to never forget both the darkest depths of ignorance from where I came and the most exalted destination to where I can go. Without at least a lifetime of humble service to your lotus feet, I'll never resolve the most confidential perplexity of existence. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love. The Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Sachi Devi as the moon appeared from the ocean. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi.16. How is the two appear as the one, and the one appears as the two? You have the right to reveal this most oceanic divine mystery. High above my shameful head, I hold this most precious goal. Waiting in service, I beg for your glance upon me for your eternal guidance. Your hopeful servant, Devamitra Swami. Could I now please welcome Aditya to provide the schedule of the day?
Mars' offering to Prabhupada. Now, how about we make ourselves familiar with today's schedule? So, at first, we'll be doing verbal offerings, which will go around up to 5. Next, we'll be having Bhoga offerings, which will start around 5. Then we'll be having Guru Puja and Pushpanjali, which will start at 5:30. Next, we'll be having the Shinga prayers, which will start at 6, closing statement, and at last we'll be having Prasadam. Now, before we start our program, I would like to invite Radhika Nath Prabhu up to stage and tell us, make ourselves familiar with today's COVID-19 restrictions.
My name is Radhika Nath Das and I'll be your COVID marshal for today. The exits are there, on the right here and up there. Even with the current situation and restrictions which have been enforced on us, we have still managed to get together for this glorious occasion of Guru Maharaj's 70th Vyas Puja. These occasions normally awakens the soul and immerses us with bliss and ecstasy, which makes us sing, dance, and of course, honor prasadam together at the end. But, unfortunately, there are a few restrictions will be in play throughout the day. And so we'll have to control our spiritual senses and sing and chant and dance within. So, running through, obviously you went nicely with the schedule. Any kirtan, unfortunately, we only can clap. Only the singers can sing kirtan. With the Guru Puja, there'll be a slight tweak this year. There'll be unfortunately, no obeisances when we get to the altar. There'll be, while the Guru Puja mantra is going on, there'll be one, who's singing that today? You are? Everyone will go to the altar and offer the flowers to Gurudev in keeping 1.5 meters distance, please. I'll have a ruler. Again, when we do Narshinga prayers, we can only clap. And with the Vyasa Puja feast today, we'll be pre-packing the feast. So you can obviously take the pre-made prasadam and containers back to your seat. We will also have bottles of water, which are available on the right here. Please take a bottle to keep yourself hydrated throughout the day. We'll be here for another 3-4 hours. Also, we have, for sanitization, we have hand sanitizers around the place here. Also, we have access to hand washing in the bathrooms. Please minimize touching the doors and the surfaces. As I said, no obeisances. And we already have dedicated people to serve the food and prasadam and the drinks, who actually will be having gloves and face masks. If you have any concerns or questions throughout the evening, please come and see myself. I'll be happy to oblige. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
It was very enlightening. Can I please invite Aditya to continue the verbal offerings?
Now I'd like to call up on stage a very honorable personality who has countless qualities. He is very determined, very fixed in his service, very kind-hearted, very knowledgeable, expert in giving classes, very enthusiastic leader, trustworthy devotee, fantastic book distributor, and to add to all that, he manages the temple. Welcome to stage His Grace Ghanshyam Govinda Das.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Devamitra Swami Niti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. We are very fortunate here that even in such a very unprecedented situation, we are still having this opportunity to come together and hear words of glorification of one of the most unique, dear sons, spiritual sons of Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Devamitra Swami Maharaj. First time when I actually heard of Maharaj was a series of lectures that when I came to Krishna consciousness, one of my roommates actually shared with me. When I heard Maharaj's lecture, it was very different to the ones which I was used to hearing from any other speaker giving. Something that was really appealing to me was how he was able to balance the philosophical depth of Shastras like Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita with the practical, simple, day-to-day lessons which we can all take and imbibe as part of our value system. And the more I started to hear, more it started to sink in that Krishna consciousness is a way of life. It's not something you aspire to be part of. Rather, it's just a matter of us awaking to a different dimension, to a different reality, so to speak. And one of the instructions which Maharaj actually gave, I remember the very first retreat I attended of Maharaj, it was in New Gokula farm. It was a 2-day retreat, and we have our eternal event manager, Radhikanath. He was encouraging us to go and take darshan of Maharaj and participate along with Sri Goloka Prabhu. And throughout those 3 days or 2.5 days, Maharaj was repeatedly insisting on one single point again and again and again. Please attentively hear Krishna's holy name. Please give the best of your time hearing Krishna's holy names, because he is worth it. He was always hammering us on the same point over and over again. And during the darshan, I remember I had this list of questions prepared. That was the first sannyasi you get to have personal darshan with. Then he said, "You have questions?" I said, "Yes." Then he said, okay. Then I started to read out. There were 7 or 8 questions. He heard all of that. And then at the end, he asked me, "Have you read all of Srila Prabhupada's books?" I said, "No, I am halfway through Bhagavad Gita." Then he said, "All you have to do is just open the books and read." Any other question? I said, "No." It lasted 30 seconds. And I just came out. And then every single time, if I actually see Maharaj, if I think of asking him something, that thing always comes up. I'm still waiting for Maharaj to ask me, "Have you read Prabhupada's books fully?" "Yes, Maharaj. 3 times I've finished reading." "So can we talk now?" Took me 15 years. So it's amazing how somebody who's dealing with the amount of preaching services Maharaj does, the amount of traveling he does, the amount of high-profile personalities Maharaj meets, still few moments later, if you actually go and speak to him, he'll talk to you as if he's your friend, as if he's just a brand new bhakta. And the amount of excitement a brand new bhakta would have when he picks up the beats and chant every day, or let's say perhaps for the first time, Maharaj has that every single time. I used to read Maharaj's blogs very regularly in the past, and one point which Maharaj was actually sharing, which I try to remember as much as possible, is Maharaj was actually writing there that every single time he finishes a round, he would always think that at the end of the round, he is offering, as if he is cupping his hands, holding flowers and offering it at the lotus feet of Krishna and Prabhupada. And Maharaj was saying that way he started to feel that this is an offering to Srila Prabhupada, this is an offering, him chanting the holy name. And then Maharaj, I remember in one particular blog article, he actually finished that article by saying that, and as he progressed, as he started to take this as a practice, regular practice to actually offer these flowers, like a Manasa Seva, over a period of time, Maharaj was saying that it was such an intense personal experience that he started to feel that he is actually offering flowers at the utterance of every single Mahamantra. So, repeatedly, Maharaj, no matter what projects we go bring it up to him, or we talk to him about finances, everything, at the end he will always come to this one single point: how is your sadhana going? Because if we think about it, we are so tiny, there isn't much we can do. The best thing we can possibly do now as well as in future is simply to take shelter of the holy names of Krishna. And we also understand time and again that if we are reminded about following that simple lesson in our Krishna consciousness, that if we simply take shelter of Krishna's holy name, if we simply take shelter of loving to read and distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, if we simply continue to read this way, if we continue to serve Krishna this way, naturally all the problems will actually get sorted. Many times you will see, sometimes the problem is so big, we don't know how to deal with it. We keep on postponing and then somehow the problem solves itself. So Maharaj always uses this term, that's Krishna's mysticism. He uses this term very often. So on this wonderful Vyasa Puja day, let us all resolve to take this most important instruction of Maharaj. Maharaj is not so much interested in how much Lakshmi we collect. I remember a few occasions Maharaj said, I am not one of those fundraising sannyasis. Maharaj used to say that. So if we simply read, learn to love reading Srila Prabhupada's books, distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, prioritize our life properly, that alone will actually please Maharaj. And there isn't much Maharaj is actually expecting of us, be it as managers or be it Siksha or Diksha disciples. But if we simply take shelter, Maharaj's conviction on the holy name is so strong that he is convinced beyond a doubt, and that seems to be his only instruction he is giving us, at least from every lectures that we hear. You simply take shelter of Krishna and let Krishna solve your problem. Don't worry about solving your life. Don't worry about solving the issues in your life rather, or problems in your life. Simply if we learn to take shelter of Krishna, that is one panacea that's gonna fix all the problems in life. So I'm always feeling very grateful whenever I'm in association of Maharaj's disciples. Perhaps this is the only assembly where I can openly talk fanatically about book distribution. That's how I'm engaged. Mathura Gokul, Harinamamrita, Gopi Brahmamrita, everyone. So thank you so much. Book distribution is so dear to Maharaj. Till this date, even yesterday, Kamsari Prabhu, he sent a series of videos to Maharaj. Maharaj, last time when he gave us a class that's about 3 weeks ago online, Maharaj was encouraging us. He saw all the photos, reports, and he says you should take videos of people taking books and them sharing their experience, how they met monks, how they feel holding these books. And Maharaj said something very interesting. He said, whenever you see a picture of somebody holding books, the happiness which they actually show in the photos, it's not a plastic smile. It's not like you try to catch the moment. Maharaj says, if you want to see real spiritual happiness, take a look at the people holding books. He said, because that is the soul that's inside them that's smiling. It's not their body, or it's not a physical exercise, so to speak. Then we started to shoot videos and we are sending. So the recent ones which we actually sent, Maharaj replied back, excellent. The Ozimites are getting all the mercy. So if we take this one single instruction of Maharaj to learn to love reading Srila Prabhupada's books, learn to love distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, take shelter of the holy name, that will be a great legacy which we can actually carry forward to the next generation. Many times I feel when we come across stalwart devotees, stalwart preachers like Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj, my Guru Maharaj is known as Devamitra Swami Maharaj, we sometimes feel we are very fortunate to be in association with them. Okay, one generation from now, who is the next Devamitra Swami? We don't know. We are just very lucky. So the more we actually imbibe the instructions of Maharaj, put it as part of our value system, more we can live those instructions. And at least just by observing dear disciples of Srila Prabhupada, like His Holiness Devamitra Swami Maharaj, we can understand the qualities of Srila Prabhupada. So similarly, we can also be worthy sons and daughters of His Holiness Devamrita Maharaj if we simply take those simple instructions. Maharaj doesn't, as I said, Maharaj doesn't want us to complicate our lives. He wants us to keep our life simple. 8 hours for body, 8 hours for soul, 8 hours for service. Keep our life simple, maintain that balance. And that way, I remember last time when Maharaj met me, he asked me my age. I told him, he said, after 40, all you can do with your body is damage control. So he said you can eat till 40, but then once you touch 40, you need to be careful about your diet as well as your exercise. He said after that you can only do damage control. The sooner you start, better, and you will thank me. I remembered that. I've crossed 40 now. So thank you so much for having us here. As I said, we always feel very, very inspired to be in this assembly of wonderful devotees who have taken those instructions of Maharaj so close to your heart and walking the talk, following in his footsteps. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
8-year-old girl who does anything that will please Guru Maharaj and Radha Gopinath. Please welcome Dhanishta.
Dear Guru Maharaj, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Happy Vyasa Puja. I pray to Lord Krishna that very soon you can come to Sydney. The New Zealand devotees are certainly very lucky and blessed to have you with them. I have started chanting 2 rounds, and for Purushottam month, I tried chanting 4 rounds. I remember I mentioned this in my previous offering, but still I want to thank you for giving me a garland in New Govardhan. I also enjoy your nectarian classes with my parents. Once again, Happy Vyasa Puja, Jai Prabhupada. Your spiritual granddaughter, Dhanishta.
Devotee is always ready to listen to his spiritual master and Radha Gopinath in order to please them. Please may Bhakta Arvind Ganesh Prabhu come and give an offering to Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, this is a surprise for me. Was now. So, yeah, I would just like to share like what I shared previously in the previous Vyasa Puja offering. Like by the mercy of Ganesham Prabhu and other devotees in the temple, I was able to have a one-on-one meeting with Guru Maharaj, and Maharaj asked a couple of questions to Maharaj, and Maharaj simply asked me like just stay in the association of devotees, and you don't have to worry about anything else. So that is the simple advice he gave me, and so far I have been trying to follow that advice by his mercy, but by the mercy of devotees as well. And I still feel very grateful for Maharaj to allocate a little time for me. Nevertheless, considering my lack of qualification, he gave his personal time and give good advice for my benefit. Thank you so much, Gurudev. Hare Krishna.
Harmonious and cheerful singer who is dedicated to use this talent to garnish her love for Krishna and Guru Maharaj. May Meera come to glorify her Gurudev.
Okay.
Dear Gurudev, Happy Vyasa Puja. On this auspicious day, I would like to express my gratitude towards you. Thank you for being such an inspiration to me. As this is the big 70th Vyas Puja, I wrote this acrostic poem to glorify you. Gurudev, G for glorious and melodious kirtans that you do, U for unlimited mercy flowing towards us, R for a respectable and a humble person that you are, U for unflinching faith and confidence in Srila Prabhupada, D for divine and eternal grandfather, E for enlivening and meaningful words, V for valiant warrior in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. I hope you like it. Please continue to bless me with your guidance and mercy so I can increase my bhakti. I can then try to help you spread Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction of Yare Dekho Tare Kaha Krishna Upadesh. Meaning whomever I meet, I will simply talk with him about the instructions given by Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada has said, our first business is book distribution. There is no need for any other business. If this book distribution is managed properly, pushed on with great enthusiasm and determination, and at the same time, if our devotees keep spiritually strong, then the whole world will become Krishna consciousness. By your mercy, I always want to live up to these expectations wherever I go in any circumstances. Thank you for everything you have done for me. Your granddaughter, Meera.
O He Vaishnava Thakura
Mani Pan Prabhu. What was the tune again?
Time है चलो next
Tell me the tune. Tell me the tune. Tell me.
Shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadhati Swapadhantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dhaityaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dhaine Prabhave Namaha Maryudyojjvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudhapa Siddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaura Kushoraya Shakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padam Bhujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodhaya Satchit Ananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumestvam Nirdheshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarva Bhauma Shri Jaganathayate Namaha Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha Panchatatvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavatara Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dheena Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Khanta Namostute Jayatam Surato Phangor Mama Manda Matirgati Mat Sarvasva Padam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Virindaranya Kalpadhrumada Srimad Ratnangara Simanasto Srimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prestalibi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsi Vata Tata Stitaha Karshan Venusvaner Gopir Gopinata Striyestunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Devamitra Swamin Iti Namine Prachare Purva Daksham Cha Bhaktachara Pravinata Parartha Tapikarunyam Yasya Sarvachate Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Devamrita Swamin Iti Namine Prachare Purva Daksham Cha Bhaktachara Pravinata Parartha Tapikarunyam Yasya Sarvachate Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Devamrita Swamin Iti Namine Prachare Purva Daksham Cha Bhaktachara Pravinata Parartha Tapikarunyam Yasya Sarvachate Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sorry, Pooja. Okay, while the devotees are continuing to offer flowers, we'll begin with Guru Puja. Samsara dhava nalalida loka Shanaya karunyam gana ganatvam Samsara dhava nalalida loka Shanaya karunyam gana ganatvam Saptasya kalyana gunanavasya Vande Guroshi Charanarvindam Saptasya kalyana gunanavasya Vande Guroshi Charanarvindam Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita Vaditra Madhyan Manasora Sena Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita Vaditra Madhyan Manasora Sena Romancha Kampa Shutaranga Bhajo Vande Guroshi Charanarvindam Romancha Kampa Shutaranga Bhajo Vande Guroshi Charanarvindam Shri Vigrahara Dhana Nityanana Shingara Tanmandira Majanado Shri Vigrahara Dhana Nityanana Shingara Tanmandira Majanado Yuktasya Bhaktams Chaniyunjatopi Vande Guroshi Charanarvindam Yuktasya Bhaktam Chaniyunjatopi Vande Guroshi Charanarvindam Chaturvidhashi Bhagavat Prasado Swadvanna Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangan Chaturvidhashi Bhagavat Prasado Swadvanna Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangan Kritvaiva Triptim Bhajata Sadaiva Vande Guroshi Charanarvindam Kritvaiva Triptim Bhajata Sadaiva Vande Guroshi Charanarvindam Chiradika Madhavayora Para Madhurya Leela Gunarupa Namnam Shiradika Madhavayorapara Madhurya Leela Gunarupanam Nam Pratikshana Swadana Lolupasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Swadana Lolupasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Nikunjayuno Ratikeli Siddhyai Yayali Biryu Tirapekshaniya Kunjayuno Ratikeli Siddhyai Yayali Biryu Tirapekshaniya Sakrati Dakshad Ati Vallabhasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Sakrati Dakshad Ati Vallabhasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Shakshadarit Vena Samasta Shastre Uktastatava Yataeva Sadi Shakshadaritvena Samasta Shastre Uktastatava Yataeva Sadi Kintu Prabhurya Priya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Kintu Prabhurya Priya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasado Yasya Prasada Nagati Kutopi Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasado Yasya Prasada Nagati Kutopi Dayam Stuvam Stasya Yasya Sri Sanjam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Dayam Stuvam Stasya Yasya Sri Sanjam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam 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 Jaya Guru Deva 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 Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. His Holiness Devamitra Swami Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. Radhikanath Prabhu.
Narasimhaya
Pralada la da da de. Pralada la da da de. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilatankanakalaye. Shilatankanakalaye. Itona sima padatona siva. Itona sima padatona siva. Yata yata yamita tona siva. Yata yata ya. Bahir nasima hridaye nasiba. Bahir nasima hridaye nasiba. Narasimhadev sharanam prapade. Narasimhadev sharanam prapade. Tavakara kamalabade naka adhuta singa dalita hiranyakashipu anubinga keshabadita narahari rupa jai jagadisha hare jai jagadisha hare jai jagadisha hare naka adhuta singa dalita janyakashi tanubinga keshabadita narahari rupa jai jagadisha hare jai jagadisha hare jai jagadisha hare jaya narasimhadev jaya narasimhadev jaya narasimhadev jaya narasimhadev narasimhadev jaya narasimhadev jaya narasimhadev jaya jaya Prahlad Maharaj jaya Prahlad Maharaj jaya Prahlad Maharaj jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj jaya Prahlad jaya jaya Prabhupada 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 jaya jaya Prabhupada Nashmade Bhagwan ki jai, Bhaktaraj Prahlad ki jai, Tagore Pranand.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtatara Shata Shishimadi Divine Grace of High Narvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtatara Shata Shishimadi Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय श्री जगन्नाथ श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय यमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत घोर भक्त वृंद की जय युग धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय शिला प्रभुपाद चैनल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय शिला प्रभुपाद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल All glories to some devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to some devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to some devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Ganga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He's the most holiest appearance day of His Holiness Devamitra Swami Maharaj Maha Mahotsav Vyas Puja Day ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nitai Gop Premanande Hare Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for attending Devamitra Swami Maharaj's 70th Vyas Puja. We have been very blessed with your presence and hoping to get your association and many celebrations to come. Please bless us kids so we can develop our outreach service and walk in all of your footsteps to assist Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada in their mission. So far we have been engaged mostly indoors. With your blessings, we hope we will expand into outdoors like yourselves and bring Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to every town and village of this world. I know we are all waiting for the grand feast, but we will show a short film about Guru Maharaj before we satisfy our palate. Shri Gurudev ki, Shri Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I was just checking if everybody started smelling the food or not. You know? Just meditating on food. I believe that they came all the way from the East Islands, and we are just letting them go just by reading their offerings. That doesn't sound good. I actually threatened them in the past that if we don't get enough nectar from Sankirtan nectar from you, we will confiscate your passport and give you the citizenship of the West Island. So I think they're prepared. So any one of you can 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you can think. Please share some Sankirtan nectar, Guru Maharaj's memories which you have, very sweet memories. We all would like to know. So thank you very much. I will invite any one of you, whoever would like to come. Please prepare. Both of you can come and stand here.
This island makes us very shy. We're not like the Australians. We were just thinking of a few stories to tell because we've had the fortune of travelling a couple of times with Gurudev, myself twice and Anantanag 3 times. So we just thought of some stories that when we travel with him. I'll just start with one story. We had just arrived in London. I forget where we'd come from, but we were quite sleepless. And we had organised a hire car so that when we arrived at the airport with Guru Maharaj, we would go to this car hire place and go to drive 3 hours to Cardiff. And it all seemed like it would be very smooth in our head. But then when we got to the airport, firstly we realised that we couldn't just get a taxi to go to the Kai Hara place, which was maybe 10 minutes away. So we realised suddenly we had to get a bus, and so we went to the supposed bus stop, but it wasn't the bus stop, so we had to explain to Gurudev that we're not on the right bus stop. So I kind of wandered off to try and find the bus stop, and Anantanag did, and then of course Gurudev was the one that found the bus stop, and he was pointing like this, pointing at us like, this is the bus. And then we got to the bus and he said, see, I know what the right colour bus is, it's green. So we humbly got on the bus with him feeling already like, this is so embarrassing. And then we got to the car hire place in London, you know, the biggest city in Europe, and we just thought we'd walk in and get the car and leave. But we got there and the whole place was full, like hundreds of people. And we were standing outside looking in the window, and Anantanag's like, I'll go and see what's happening. And then you saw Anantanag just looking at the sign of all the names of people waiting for their hire cars. And he looked at me, he said, does he know what he's doing? So I don't think I've told him that. And so I went in, and then I was just staring at the screen, realising that we're going to have to wait like 1 hour to get our car. And Gurudev he just the reason I'm telling the story is this example of how tolerant Gurudev is. Like straight away, he just got out his headphones. He goes, because all this music was blasting inside this building, got on his earphones, and we had to wait about 1 hour for the car. And we got the car, and Gurudev never said anything to us. He never chastised us. He never complained that we didn't do it, in an appropriate manner. Like we didn't organize it well. He only just said a little thing to Nintanag the next day, like maybe next time, we could do that a little better. But he was just so tolerant and kind to us, even though it was a very inconvenient situation. And that's just like one example of what he must go through in his travels.
Okay. I remember a few stories. Wrong. Okay. A few stories from going through airports, and Guru Maharaj has been doing it for so long. So he's really expert at going through security checks, and he's got it all mastered. And he's so conscious of what he's doing at every moment, and also not just only himself, but those who are with him. So there was one person also traveled with us, and that person happened to have his passport in a kurta. He was traveling in devotional clothing, and when he went through security screening, obviously they picked up something in your pocket, and the security person took the passport and put it on the screening machine, on top of the screening machine, and told the person to go back and go through the security, through the screening again. And so he went back and through, and he was clear, and he happily went on, towards the next destination. But Gurudev saw everything, and he said, "Your passport is still there, so don't forget your passport." So it was very embarrassing for the person, and we also learned that we have to be very conscious of everything we do, and there are so many unforeseen things. And what's the other one? Okay, you tell me.
I just remembered one story. We had just arrived in Ukraine, and it was like a sleepless night to get to Ukraine. And the driver, he had met Gurudev the year before. He was kind of aspiring devotee, so they give every Maharaja driver that will drive them for the whole time period of the festival. So this driver doesn't speak English, but when Gurudev got in the car, they started speaking with Anantanag translating. And Gurudev was so tired that he actually fell asleep mid-conversation. And so the driver understood he's tired. So maybe a minute or so later, the driver and Anantanag started conversing about Gurudev's lunch or organizing something, and it involved saying Gurudev's name. So it appeared that Gurudev had fallen asleep, but when they said Gurudev in their conversation, Gurudev just opened his eyes, yes. So it just showed me that Gurudev's always our servant. He's always at our service. We see him as our master, but he sees himself as our servant. He's always ready. Whenever we call his name, he's there, yes.
So observe when he's apparently asleep, he's actually not. He's like totally in Krishna's pastimes. And even though, sometimes we had opportunity to drive him from Auckland to Hamilton maybe 2 or 3 times to the outreach program, and he would just turn Brihad Bhagavatamrita or Chaitanya Bhagavat narration practically full volume, that our ears would be like just at the edge, and he would just apparently fall asleep, but like close his eyes, and so even while he's resting, he's constantly absorbed in hearing pastimes. And another, yes. The one story I remember, we were in Switzerland in Zurich Temple for 3 days. I think it was Radhashtami celebration, and after that he had to go to Russian festival or Ukraine festival, one of these festivals, and in those countries still, I think it was Ukraine, and authorities, they're not really welcoming devotees. They start suspecting something, or basically there is a threat, there is a danger that if they suspect that he's a spiritual leader, they can just deny the entry. So Guru Maharaj had to wear normal clothing, which is not very usual for him. And it kind of like reminded him the days when he was going across the Iron Curtain. So he was in that mold again, like wearing normal civil clothing. And at the same time, he was a little bit embarrassed. He didn't want devotees from the temple to see him when he was leaving the temple. So he was conspiring how to sneak out into the van. And he asked me, do you know if there is any other, alternative route to get out of the temple, not through the main entrance, but through the other one? And in those 3 days, I learned that he actually lived, that temple was when he was distributing books in the time of when the Iron Curtain was there. He was actually made the temple as his base, and he was traveling from the temple across the border into the Soviet bloc. So he has very long history of the temple. He knows all ins and outs. It's a big house, like a maybe 5-story house, and it has a main entrance, but it also has another kind of entrance, maybe it was like an ancient villa or something that had a servant's entry and also had a separate stairs for the servants. So he knew all that, but he kind of gave me opportunity to take credit for, yeah, Guru Maharaj, I know there is a secret exit. So we did that, and he had like a very kind of cheeky smile on his face when I came to him and reported that, yes, Guru Maharaj, your bags are in the van and the driver is waiting, and he was like super excited to sneak out. And then as soon as he got into the car, devotees realized the devotees were waiting downstairs with mirdangas to bid farewell to him. So they realized and rushed out, but he was already in the car, and they could see they can see the torso, but didn't see that he's wearing pants. So he was.
Can I say part of the story?
So he was happy.
And I somehow happened to be on the secret side. I didn't know any of this because it had all happened. I didn't know. So I happened to be on the secret side of the stairwell, and then I was just chatting with a few devotees, and the next thing I see Gurudev looking really sneaky coming down the stairs. I'm like, what on earth is going on here? And then I saw the devotees like playing the kirtan, so I was kind of like indicating, I think he's going this direction. So they all kind of were like chasing him out into the van. It also just reminded me of one story. How long do we have? We could just go on for hours. We just now in October or so, we were coming into Ukraine, and there were quite a few devotees on our flight. Last year, yeah. There were quite a few devotees on our flight, and because my husband's Russian and we've been there several times, on my New Zealand passport it showed I'd been in Russia, and there's lots of conflict between Russia and Ukraine. So when I went through the passport check, the man at the counter, he started what I call as harassing me, questioning me, why have you been to Russia? And I'd actually never experienced this. I've been through many airports, but I felt harassed. and I was concerned I wouldn't get through because actually many devotees got held back that day, including Devamitra Swami's servant. And anyway, I got through, and then I don't know why, but I just blurted out to Gurudev, even though just before in the Russian festival, Gurudev had a meeting with the older devotees, and he'd been sharing some stories of his time behind the Iron Curtain. And I actually heard the lecture on that flight, but I just blurted out to Gurudev, I said they were harassing me, and he just looked so sternly at me. He said, "You have no idea what harassment is," because of what he's been through. So that was quite sobering. Maybe you want to tell us that little gathering in the Russian festival?
Yes, so there was a small gathering of devotees, early devotees in Russia with Guru Maharaj, and then Devamitra Swami came, Lokanath Swami came, and something breaking here. So it was kind of organized spontaneously. There is one wonderful devotee, Dina Sharma? No. What's her name? She's from France originally, and she was sent by Srila Prabhupada to Russia to marry very first Srila Prabhupada's disciple in Russia. And Srila Prabhupada only, as you know, he only been in Russia for several days, and he met that person. That person became a devotee, and Srila Prabhupada sent a devotee from France to marry him and basically educate him and train him in bhakti. So actually, it's an unknown part of the history, but there is lots of credit goes towards that lady. Unfortunately, I'm very bad with memorizing names. If I remember, hopefully I can. Mandakini Mataji. Thank God. So she organized that meeting. She is very blissful, very ecstatic devotee. So she organized that meeting between first devotees who been made by her and her husband, and those who've been preaching behind the Iron Curtain. And the meeting was very intense. The devotees were sharing. They just presented their names and what they've been through. And actually, at some point, Lokanath Swami Maharaj left, and then Devamitra Swami Maharaj left, and and Guru Maharaj was very emotional, and even during kirtan, he was leading little kirtan, and he started crying just seeing these devotees. So it was very emotional time for him, and at some point after some time discussing this, he just couldn't stay there, so he excused himself and left. So it just tells us that how traumatic that experience was, and it's still very alive in him, and he just didn't want to. He just wants to, as I understood, he just wants to get on with preaching, not to dwell too much in the past. He just wants to outreach and make sure we never get again into that situation, because another realization I had that Krishna consciousness is so freely available in the Western world. There is no restriction, there is no repression, but it wasn't always like that in the country where I was born. It was certainly devotees had to be underground. They had to preach with the fear that they could be just thrown to jail and prosecuted. So we are very fortunate that we can freely talk to people and share this Krishna consciousness. So I think we should probably take prasadam. Everyone is hungry. Hare Krishna, thank you very much.